Lanka, it's Yasmin Yusuf on another edition of the Decibel podcast, and this time around I have a buddy who agrees with me 100% of the time. He is Rob R Music. He's like that DJ that's been making waves in Sri Lanka since the time you got here. Dude, your PETA videos are turning out to be some legendary material, man.
It's basics, you know, it's nothing, it's all here. And people, we're not looking within ourselves, we're always looking outside of our country for inspiration and ideas. It's all here. Like you can do stuff even at home, you know.
Dude, that's what I like about you. You absolutely like find that, and you have this way of connecting with people and actually being like, oh, you know, this is like the sound of Sri Lanka. This is what Sri Lankan people actually like and groove to, regardless of race or gender or whatever. So that's what I really fucking love about you and what you bring to the table. I like that you bring it to like everyday people, and I love how you bring it to like people in PETA in different areas. Yeah. So, man, enough of me like throwing a lot of flowers your way. How you been, man?
Good. Exhausting, but good. Happy to be here.
Hey, grateful. So happy to have you. Like after a very hectic last year.
It was like last year was crazy because we were still like building profile, building music, building sound, building connections. And this year onwards is like growth, you know, continue to build and reach masses. For me, it's fun to play music or take the sound to the club goers and party people. And and also like I live in Ahangama, so a lot of us goes to tourists. But I think it's important for us, at least for me, to take this music to everyday people in Sri Lanka. I think reaching the mass audience is what's gonna help me achieve the goal I want to do, which is healing our people through music and uniting ourselves through music. And it's so important. It has not happened yet. And many people are trying to do that, and I want to encourage more people to do that. Music heals, music brings people together.
Yeah.
And it's important, regardless of the language barriers that we have. And that's what I'm trying to do. So next step is more mass audience.
Yeah, like Rasulon said, decolonize your mind.
Exactly.
And just do the best you can to just bring in that authentic Asian self back and whatever that we lost. And you know, like, so behind the scenes, Sri Lanka, we had like this incredible conversation about life in a bus.
You
know? Oh my God, how people like push you and they're like, oh, we gotta get down first. And you had like a very interesting explanation to it.
Yeah, I think so. For people who are like watching or coming across me for the first time, so I'm Rob, originally from Jaffna, born here. At the age of 5, my life really turned upside down because the war really kicked off in Jaffna. The army came and took over the north in the Jaffna district. So with me and my family, we fled the war and moved to Kilinochchi and then to Colombo. And then I fled the country, and from Sri Lanka, I went to Indonesia, to Thailand, to China, then to Finland. At Finland, I spent 6 months in a refugee camp, and then moved from Finland to the UK, where I grew up, spent most of my life. And in between, for 2 years, I studied at a boarding school in India. And in 2020, actually in 2019, I tried to make a way to come back to Sri Lanka, but the timing was right. We Sri Lankans made a poor choice of electing the wrong people back in again. So, and then that it wasn't possible then. And then in 2020, I moved to Singapore. I lived there for 3.5 years. And then finally, at the end of 2023, I moved to Ahangama, where I live now. And now I feel like the country is moving in the right direction politically for me, where I feel safe, where I see hope, and I feel that there is a positive outlook on how things are moving forward. And I really hope that it goes this way, and we're all aware of what's happening and how we can contribute. So that's how I ended up here. And the last year and a half's been really like eye-opening for me, because I'm a proud Sri Lankan a proud Sri Lankan Tamil, and even though I lived all my life outside, I've always been curious about what happens here. I make an effort to stay up to date with the politics, the events that go on here. And coming back here, it's been an eye-opener because I live here now, and you see everyday life, how people struggle, and you understand better why people struggle. And then, you see everyday behavior, and I try to, it's frustrating at times how people do things and how people behave. And it's so easy to get mad at these situations, but it's better to reflect and think about why people behave in a certain way. And small things, rushing, super fast buses that kills people every day in Sri Lanka. No one addresses it. People are always generally have this attitude of pushing, nudging, rushing to get, fighting for things. And this whole idea and this whole concept of competition, we need to bring people down to get to where we want, to push people. I need to get my piece of the pie, exactly. But I think a lot of this kind of behavior that we have is generational trauma. It's because for 600 years we were colonized by the West, and previously we've always been in this kind of constant battle. And 600 years is a long time. That's almost like
7-8 people.
7-8 different generations, And we had different governments, different countries. Even since the independence, we had different governments or different people doing different things to us. So I think a lot of it comes from this generational trauma, and this is an opportunity for us to break that. To break it. It's like, okay, listen, we don't need to rush anywhere. And also, it's not like everyone's rushing to go somewhere, like driving super fast, pushing people to get off. We're super unproductive as a nation, so what is the rush? I know. It's not like overnight we're building another freaking highway. This highway that we have is the only one, and it's been taking ages to build. We don't have the rest of the country. There's so much to do here, but it's so unproductive. Everyone's rushing. But that's one aspect of it, is like this rush mentality or this competition mentality is probably because of during the colonization times, it's like everyone had to fight amongst each other to get their jobs, their food. It's like they created this system where we're fighting amongst ourselves so that we don't think bigger, we don't think outside. We're almost like, for a long time, we hated our own identity.
Which is like so bizarre, because when you look at other people's identities, they're like, oh, bro, I wish I was you. Like the West for the longest time were like, we want to be like you Asians. And the Asians are like, no, bro, we want to be like you.
And they still do. They still want to be like us. And they're still here. They're coming back here. There's like where I live in Ahangama, for example, there's probably more successful Western entrepreneurs or business owners than Sri Lankans, because they understand the value of our land. They understand the value of our traditions and culture, that they're willing to invest and make it even bigger, and they are financially getting rewarded for that. Whereas us Sri Lankans are looking to the West. We want to be like the West. We want to be like Europeans. We want to dress like them. We want to eat like them. We want to listen to music like them. We want to go live there. But everyone's trying to escape from here. No one wants to stay here and build things. They're coming here and building things and flourishing. So what is the problem? Is not them. It's not the outside world. It's all here. It's in our head. So long-winded answer: decolonize our minds. Think how we can better treat each other. It's okay to say please. Like I was trying to, because my Sinhala is very little. Like I speak Tamil, so I was trying to find out some of these words like please or like excuse me. I never hear it enough. It's okay to be a little bit gentle. Like, we practice some of the oldest religions on this island, which teaches us amazing things. We should really put this into practice about how we treat each other.
And it's not that difficult, man. Starting from like the bus conductor to like the curry man or the curry woman to anyone else.
The best places sometimes, like I see, yet of course it's frustrating to see how we're treating each other, but on a bigger scale, like if we zoom out a little bit, the kindness that we have here, the kindness that I see in our people, I've never experienced this anywhere in the world. Like you can get stuck. It's like things just fall. You can get stuck in a random village. Someone will come to help you. Like you will be fine, you know, this kind of stuff, and you can survive here. Like, people are not, you know, there's so much kindness here. You see
Yeah.
them in villages and all of these places, and you see people genuinely wanting to help because they want to help another human being.
Yeah.
So yes, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining about the way we are, but there is also so much kindness and nice things about us, and we should do more of that.
Absolutely. And now getting down to like asking you the million rupee question, you know, you're like of a Tamil background and you play a lot of this Tamil Sinhalese, a lot of the Asian music. How much of opportunity has been around for you?
To be honest, a lot of that I had to create myself because don't get me wrong, like here the problem is there is the landscape. I'm sure a lot of us know it. You have the main control of what music is played and what people listen to is with people who have the money, and people who have the money are the venue owners and event spaces, event curators, right? So artists, if you don't have such a big following, if you don't have your own kind of fan base, and if you're not bringing in people, or if you don't have such a reach, you don't have a say in what you play. You play what's going to please the crowd, and what that crowd, how much that crowd is going to spend on drinks and all of this. So that's what's sadly dictated by. There is still, don't get me wrong, there is still a lot of people who are doing amazing things and bringing sounds that are unique to this land, unique to this region, but unfortunately they're not getting the reach that they are supposed to. They're not getting the love, and that's because it's not appreciated. Like Tamil music, I think Tamil music has a lot of scope, and it's definitely better received than Sinhala music. And this was another question I had, and it baffled me so much because as a Tamil person who's seen Sri Lanka as the way it is for the last 30 years, Sinhalese people are very proud of who they are and their language and their culture and food, right? The same as the Tamil people. But it's crazy that in the younger generation now, and even in venues we're in the south or Colombo, I barely hear like Sinhala songs being played. I, as a Tamil person, play more Sinhala songs into a bigger, wider audience in the electronic music space or generally in clubs than a Sinhalese DJ would do. It's because this hasn't evolved so much yet, but I think it needs a bit more push.
This needs to happen, Sri Lanka, because honestly, like someone else pointed out, Sri Lanka is the only place where Sinhala music is made. And it's only the Sinhalese that have this language thing going on. Yeah, there are Tamil and different people who do Sinhalese songs, but this is the epicenter of where it's happening. And I completely agree with you. I think one day I was having a conversation with KK as well, because he wanted to have like a night dedicated towards the modern individual who likes to party with Sinhalese, Tamil, and Hindi music, but there isn't a space for them because everyone's like, oh, nee, you know, like they're bringing some very... Wow, it's leaking here. And we're back because it started raining and leaking and all that, but we're in a different place. And so, man, where were we?
Yeah, we were talking about the lack of local language music scene here in Sri Lanka, and the idea that they don't, like a lot of venues don't allow you to play such music.
Which is so strange.
So weird.
Because a lot of the modern day, like individual, they love Sinhalese music. They love their Tamil music, you know, like a lot of those internet stats, when you look at it, and when you look at Sri Lanka as an entire nation, Machan, like for English tracks, it's very rare that you get like 100K and above views, like in its first week. But when it comes to like Sinhalese or Tamil a little lesser sometimes than English, but majority. Machan, and it's so easy. You have these crazy big viral hits. And yet these people are like, no, it's only like Despacito that we want to play from like a few years ago. And you're thinking, or pata. I know these are songs that are now, they're fun, they're catchy, but you can easily mix Adalimba with or even like a Korean song and then come back to a Sinhala song. And you can have like a great multicultural experience. But people are just like so close-minded, which made me want to agree with this guy, Shane Singh, and the sequence that you commented on. And a lot of people, by the looks of it, they don't understand that beyond English music that there are,
so
like, which is baffling.
It's crazy. I think, there was two things to address there. One, your comment about the virality of these tracks here, like this singular Tamil songs and the number of streams they get. Again, it goes back to my point earlier about the bigger audience, right? So you could have a singular song that's released and is heard in every corner of Sri Lanka and promoted through TV, radio, and then on streaming sites like Spotify, predominantly Spotify here, and YouTube. But these listeners are necessarily not the population that are going to be on the dance floor in a club in Colombo, right? So a bunch of people listening all around, these people have never been to Colombo, for example. If you look at the Colombo clubbing scene, there are a few factors to consider here. Who are this group of people going? Who are these venues owned by? Who can afford to go to such places? And what is their kind of idea on the Sri Lankan music scene? What's their idea on the Sri Lankan identity? And what that's about? If you built, I don't know, a club like owned by local people who love local music in like, I don't know, a town, say Kurunagala, for example, of course it's going to be banging out Sinhala music all day long because that's what they know and that's what they like to listen to. They don't have this idea that to make my club look cool or to have my club appeal to a richer audience, I need to look rich and play richer sounding Western music. I think this is the idea that people have. It's like if you play Western music, automatically your club or bar or restaurant is like it's like upper class. I had the same issue even in India. It's like they don't let you play local, like you can't. It clearly says like no local languages music,
no
Hindi
Bollywood music.
No Bollywood. It's seen as like an ick. It's seen as a bad thing because they want to have like Western music because then that means that it's a posh place and the posh people come, they spend more. So this is the problem. So the streaming side, yes, people you can go viral, you can get a lot of views, but this is everyday people who are listening to it. But the club goers or the people in the scene is a much smaller crowd who have that kind of disposable income to be able to go out on a Friday night and spend that money. And that audience is different. Like you need to get this audience to listen to their own music more. Then that changes everything, because if you get the club goers or people in the underground scene or people in this community to start appreciating their own music more and empower them to really be proud of who they are, their sound, they can even like research about the sounds, the history of music. We've had like in this part of the world, we've had music, like solid music systems for thousands and thousands of years, well before the West even had the concept of music, so we have such rich cultures here in terms of music that we can dig deep into and use those in our production. Now you want to modernize it, if you want to appeal to the wider audience, modernize it. So once you change the culture here in Colombo or even down south, then that spreads to the rest of the country too, and the world. Exactly. That's when once it spreads to the rest of the country, what happens is it creates more producers who want to make this music because people are listening to it. Once you make more and more, then this spreads to India, which is the world's largest population, and then from there, or even now, the world is in our hand. You can post something and it can reach the entire world, right? So then you can export this music to the rest of the world. So the real the real flex here is not for Sri Lankan DJ to say, hey, I'm the first Sri Lankan DJ to play in Ibiza. No, it's like I'm the first music producer to have a Tamil song or a single song to be played in a club in Ibiza. That's the real flex. You know what I mean? So that's what this is what I'm trying to do, or this is what I want.
I absolutely agree with you,
Yeah.
1000% and more. And I'm sure people watching this would be like, yeah, man, this guy speaks the absolute truth. Because for the longest time, man, I mean, it's one thing to glorify the West and all that, and it's good to be like, oh, you know, part of the culture and all that, but it's also like so wholesome when you're like appreciative of what you're born into and what you're capable of representing. Like when you're a DJ, when you're able to mix your first 2 beats, that's literally your stepping stone into like a whole new world of difference. Yes, you can make people happy. Yes, you are able to bring entertainment, but you're also like a representation and a representative of the country by default, because here you are, Sri Lanka National playing. That's what a lot of people need to do in the future as well. Recognize that power and be like, I'm Sinhalese, I'm Tamil, I'm like of Malay descent from Sri Lanka, and this is what I'm bringing to the table.
That's what the unique thing is about us, is that who we are.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people ask like, okay, how did you like grow so quickly? Like you just been here like this. It's because it's easier to be yourself than to try and pretend something that you're not.
Yeah.
Because that's exhausting, you know? So if you're just doing things that you're listening to music you love, you're playing it to people, you're building an audience, and you're like creating things that you enjoy, truly enjoy, then it's easy. Then it's not a job, it's not a show, like you don't have to, it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's when you're trying to replicate other things you've seen or stuff like inspiration. It's great to get inspiration. And I mean, I don't want to downplay the impact of Western music or the Western scene. I think it's huge. It has huge potential. There's so much learning that we can do in so many different ways. But at the same time, we should embrace our own stuff. I think the learnings we can get from the West, or even, for example, like the West, South Africa, which has a huge scene for Afro House, for example, what they've done is learn how the West is using like the technology, the softwares, how they're working in communities, how they're spreading the sound, how events are coordinated, how people are like the vibe and everything. Take the inspiration, learn, but then do it our own way. Do it like authentically Sri Lankan. Do it our own way. We don't have to be like anybody else. We can just be truly ourselves, and that's enough.
And that's a blessing, man.
Yeah.
And the highest honor that you can even give yourself. So Rob, like what's planned for this year? Do you plan on playing more like in the South or Colombo? What's the scene, my dude?
Yeah, I think I've been playing a lot. Like now it's high season in the South, so I've been playing like quite a bit. So, and I also want to do Colombo stuff. I need to play more in Colombo, and I think last year I started to get more and more of a crowd going. But it's a lot of work, you know. It's a lot of work to constantly build communities, constantly build people. And also like I don't think I've said this enough, but I'm truly grateful for like all the support that Sri Lankans do give me, and all the appreciation, and like all the efforts like they put into helping me get to where I am. So I don't think I've had an opportunity to say thank you, Nandri, Stuti, to all my Sri Lankan friends and family and followers that helped me get to where I am, because of course like without them I don't have this opportunity, you know. So I'm very grateful. So I want to do more stuff in Colombo and different parts of the country, but I'm just struggling for time, you know.
Hopefully one day you'll be able to do like a countrywide tour in your Rob bus.
Exactly, or my tuk-tuk. So that's the idea.
Also, are you going to be like maybe producing this year, like even doing remixes? Because there's a lot of really cool shit you do on the fly, man. And I've seen those clips and it's like, Damn, that energy. Where is that energy? Can you please like remix tracks? Hopefully you give them permission.
Yeah,
Him permission.
I have loads. Like I think last year during the off-season time, I had a lot more downtime, so a lot more studio time. So then I was able to make a lot of mashups, remixes, and people crave that so much. I have people that message me to say, "Hey, can we buy this track of you, or where do we download it?" Sometimes you can like upload it on sites where it's downloadable. Sometimes it gets taken down by copyright issues. So then I can't. I just play it only at my sets. But I also quite like it because it's exclusive, because only I have those. But then music is about sharing, so I should really be sharing with more people. But more remixes, more mashups, and more original production is coming.
This year.
This after April, end of April, May, I will have a lot more downtime, and then I can start focusing more on that. And there is like a lot more production stuff happening now in Sri Lanka. A big shout out to Randy De Silva, who started doing these Ableton lessons. He's doing them online, so if anyone's interested in learning to make to produce tracks, he's the person to get in touch with. Also, he teaches in Sinhala most predominantly, and a little bit of English. But there are a few other producers who are doing this, and I think I have to give a shout out to people who are changing this and giving people the skills. We need more people to be able to produce things. Empower, yes.
And to be able to
more
do
and more stuff. And I want to see more from the guys at Center. It's been very quiet. So, Mass, what's happening? Like any more programs? You'll probably see this video. What's happening? Like more courses, more countrywide courses. And then who else? CMB Cruz. He's out in France. I think he makes a lot of noise out there. And from France, big shout out to you. And he's released another song, newly released. So please, guys, go check it out. Support him. And then we have all our progressive guys doing their bits. Big shout out to Progressive House, still there. And the thing is, people all around the world recognize Sri Lanka for Progressive House. It's like a thing.
How cool is that,
man? It's cool. But I want you guys to open up and embrace more genres and get more fusions going. So
that is important.
Those are some of the names that I know. I would love to know more people who are in the music scene that I should connect to. So please do reach out.
Reach out. There's only one Raw Bar Music. So Machan, a little bit of a political question here. As a Tamil DJ who plays in Sri Lanka, have like certain members of the diaspora like reached out to you and been like, bro, ennada
idu? No, but actually generally the majority of the people have been very positive about it. So talking about the Tamil diaspora, the Tamil community, and how their reaction to what I'm doing here. And I was also in the UK this summer and played two gigs there, which were very successful. I actually have a Tamil DJ, British Sri Lankan Tamil DJ playing tonight at Love Bar, and I have some more coming our way. So I think what I have done, or I've like really touched the surface of, is show the diaspora what's happening in Sri Lanka, how the mindsets of people have changed, the attitudes have changed, what the opportunities are here for us as Tamil people, and also what our role is in building this country together and building this music scene together, because there are tons of diaspora Tamil musicians who do amazing work all around the world. But I rarely see them step foot on the homeland, like ever. So my idea is to get them back. So generally it's been positive. People have been like, oh wow, I didn't know you guys have like this. Because their idea of what Sri Lanka is what their parents saw when they left the country because of the war. Like, of course, it's not a pleasant one because, you know, they were kicked out of the country. They didn't live in a good place. So that's their idea. But this perception has to change because we can't be stuck in the same mindset 30 years ago, right? So we have to move forward. And people seeing my stories and what I do here, every day I get messages from Tamil people living abroad, bro, we want to come and visit you. Where can we go? Is it safe? Is it like happening? So they're quite happy. And a lot of the Sri Lankan Tamil people who are here already have been very appreciative of the music and what I do here. And also the Sinhala, the community, the Muslim community have also been very, very positive about the work that I do. Especially the Sinhalese people, because I'm around them most of the time. And for them, it's like they're so happy to see me play in the South and represent ourselves in predominantly tourist-packed places, you know. It's you have to create these opportunities to have the slot to play in these places, because it's not generally you don't see so much of that. And I've been trying my very best to try and create more opportunities for Sri Lankan local DJs to play more in the South in venues, high quality venues with good vibe and good people. So it'll be more and more of that. But we have to, even within our own country, we're fighting barriers and battles here to have a go at what we do.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you can
run.
No,
oh yeah, it's blocked. Can you give me like 5 minutes, if you don't mind? Okay.
We'll wrap it up.
Right. Sorry, where were we? So yeah, opportunities in the South. There's
tons. There's tons. But there is still. I'm just not trying to word it politically correct without thing. But the truth is. Okay, so here's how it works, or here's how I think it works. The DJing landscape in South, or in the South, you have local DJs from the South, right?
Yeah.
And local DJs were from there. They might have been like sound boys, or they might have listened to some songs and they've just learned on the go, and they listen to what tourists listen to or what's being played, and they get these sounds, Shazam, download, practice, like fucking hard work at what they do. Sometimes they often lack the language skills to be able to sell themselves, or because a lot of them might have not necessarily left their village or the southern province, they don't have a huge amount of exposure to what's happening outside of that district and outside of Sri Lanka, but they see everything that's happening online, so they get a lot of inspiration. So there's a lot of cool stuff that happens here. They so often struggle to tap into the higher end places in the South, because they are classified as a local DJ. So they might pay them, I don't know, 15,000 for the whole night and expect to be played the whole. So, you know, they play at these after party places and like it's intense music, like they're not paid well, they don't have the opportunity to play in high end places. And then you have the Colombo DJs who focus, Sri Lankan DJs, but Colombo based. They play in all the big clubs around Colombo and they come to the South during the season time. Even for them, because they heavily focus on Colombo, there needs to be a bit more work to build those connections in the South to be able to break into that space. They have the knowledge, they have the time, generally have the resources better than the local DJs to be able to do that. Of course, they have the language advantage too. Generally, they speak. Like a lot of the stuff I'm saying is very generalized, so please don't get offended, but they do have a slightly better advantage in terms of language. They might have gone to better schools and stuff, so they can speak, they can sell themselves well, often have even the appearance and how they market themselves well is better, but they still have to do a little bit more work. And then you have all the traveling foreign DJs. There are two types of foreign DJs. Type 1 is people who come in to play a gig and leave, like touring DJs. And those are completely fine because I travel to places and play, and people come here to play. It's how the community is built. It's how the music system works. An ecosystem works. You can't put risk. I'm not going to wait 6 months to get a business visa to go play at a gig. Impossible, you know. So that's fine. Then type 2 is people who come for the season,
Oh God.
who
yeah.
have like good paying jobs, or they have like enough savings, or they might have other jobs, or like enough saving jobs or online jobs to come, and they will stay for the season, and then they're playing in these venues and taking up opportunities that could go to Sri Lankan
Yeah.
DJs. This is where it gets a bit messy because you're taking away
Somebody's
opportunities,
opportunity,
like
yeah.
for a whole season or a whole time, taking away someone's job. And this is where it's starting to get a little bit messy because you're now competing with this like foreign talent, and you can't compete on it because they whether they have this gig or not, it's not going to make any difference to their life. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
They don't need this money to pay their bills and look after their family and so on. Whereas for a Sri Lankan person, it is what it is. And if they have this gig and they have this money, it gives them the flexibility to feed themselves and their family, and also buys them time to work on their skill. So this is where it gets tricky. It's okay for people to come and play here, no issues. We also want to go and play in other places. Like, please open the doors for us to play in other countries. There's, I think, the biggest markets of tourists that come here: Indians, Israelis, Russians, and all the European countries.
Yeah.
I never hear any Sri Lankans who are allowed to go play there. Like, when do you hear it? I would love to have more. Come on, let us in and let us play.
I know. There's only one guy this year who went to Russia and played. Just one guy. But there are so many other Russian
have
DJs
so many
playing.
villages here. Like, please let us come. You're welcome here.
Make
Like,
us
it's
welcome
fine.
there.
It's how it works, give and take, right? Like, it's. So my point is, with the southern scene is like this. The good thing, the positive side of foreign DJs, foreign musicians, foreign music producers coming here, they bring a wealth of knowledge and experiences that should be passed down to our people.
Yeah.
We should be taking this, observing, learning, so then we better ourselves.
Yeah.
And they can take some of our things and take it abroad. This is how it should be. It's a give and take. Whereas it feels right now on many fronts, it's too much of taking.
But less of the giving.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Hopefully this changes this year, you know? It's never too late to make a change.
Never know. And the change starts with us. And like, again, I get frustrated about a lot of things in this country, but I think every day I tell myself that I have to do, even no matter how hard it gets, I have to do things the right way for people to see that change. If no one wants to say good morning to me, it's okay. I'm still going to say
Good morning.
Good morning. If no one wants to say good night to me, or if no one say please or thank you, I'm going to say it, because I'll keep saying it 100 times until you change your mind to say it back to me. And that's how we have to play. Everyone has to play their part.
Absolutely. Just the little things, Habibi, just the little things.
Yeah, just the little things. Just be kind to each other. Like,
it's not going to cost you anything.
It's not going to cost you. Support each other also. There is no competition. Like, Sri Lankans, we don't need to compete with each other. We're such a small population.
Very small.
Very small. Like, there is so much stuff you can do. Do bigger things. Think big.
Absolutely.
You know? It sounds so cheesy, but honestly, you can do so much more. Just focus on your stuff. You don't need to bring anyone down. You don't need to backchat. You don't need to push anyone down. There's enough money to be made here.
Oh my God. Yes, this is what I keep telling people, and they look at me with so much disbelief. Don't be in disbelief. It is the truth.
Yeah. If you have any questions, message me. It's okay to ask people stuff.
Absolutely.
It's an open book. I have no secrets. You know?
Rob has no secrets. Oh, time to bring out the more controversial questions. I'm just kidding. Thank you, Rob, for stopping by today and having this conversation,
No
even though
worries.
it's just been a little crazy for all of us.
It's okay.
And is
It's
there
all
anything
good.
you want to impart in closing?
What would I want to say? I just want to say, again, this idea of community in the music scene and as people, as a country. Let's just be kind to each other. Let's just help each other. Let's support each other. There is no competition. We want to build this together. This country keeps giving us opportunities. Like every time there's a new opportunity to build and build and build, and we're not taking advantage of it. Let's just be clever. This is a fresh start. things are going our way. Tourism is booming. Everyone's positive, and we finally have somewhat confidence in a government. Let's ride on that and build this together. And to the government, please don't fuck this up. Like, really don't. It's
You
like
have one job.
don't do anything. Let us build it. You don't have to do anything. Just help us build this stuff together. Like, support everybody. That's all I ask of people.
And it's just the simplest thing, man. Like, because Sri Lanka has come to this point where, it doesn't matter where you're from, whether you're Sinhalese or Tamil or whatever. We just want to build, and we just want to move on with our lives.
Yeah.
I think that's all we really want to do.
Yeah. We just want to have a good quality of life. Like, it's not a lot to ask. And to be honest, we're not asking for everyone to have a house with swim pools and like freaking cars and all of their like crazy ideas. We just want every Sri Lankan person to have 3 meals a day, sleep comfortably, go to work safely, come back safely, kids to go to school, universities, get jobs, and build the country. It's very simple, basic thing. We don't want to send anyone to the moon. We don't want to go conquer any lands. We just want to do our thing. It's just basic stuff. This is all the government needs to provide for us, and everything else will come. These are the basic needs that we need. And unfortunately, a big population of the countries is still struggling with that. And we need to work together as a country together to make sure that everyone has this basic needs.
Hopefully, we'll get there.
Inshallah.
Yeah. God will bless to all of us. Jai Baba, man, this was cool.
Thank you.